Get ready to dive deep into one of the most gripping legal battles of our time. I'm your host, Jim Chapman, and today we're unraveling the high-stakes drama surrounding one of the music industry's most enigmatic figures, Sean Diddy Combs. In a case that has captivated millions, the courtroom has become a battleground for fame, fortune, and the dark secrets that lurk beneath the glittering surface of celebrity life. As the gavel comes down, we'll explore the allegations, the testimonies, and the shocking twists that could change the course of Diddy's legacy forever. Was this case merely a clash of lifestyles or something much more sinister? With each episode, I will bring you exclusive insights, analysis, and witness testimony accounts that will leave you on the edge of your seat. So buckle up as we embark on this thrilling ride through the trial of the century, where the stakes are high, the drama is real, and the truth is anything but certain. This is the trial of Sean Combs. Let's get started. And just quickly, before I get into the trial for today, May 21st, 2025, I want to mention on Monday, I'm releasing a very special episode. This episode, very near and dear to my heart. Of course, Monday is Memorial Day, and for me, my favorite holiday of the year by far. It honors those who have died defending our country in one way or the other, and these people are the real heroes, and for the first time, I'm covering a specific hero on this show. I'm absolutely honored to tell the story of Casey Frankowski. I was introduced to this Gold Star family and Casey through her aunt, who is a fan of this show, a beautiful lady named Miss Lisa Frankowski. And it's a very interesting story as to how I came to know her niece and her story and speak to Casey's father and be allowed to tell the story of who Casey was. So look for that special Memorial Day episode coming your way Monday, titled Remembering Casey. So let's get into it, and a shorter than usual update for you today. Not a whole lot happened, I guess, exciting in the trial today, but I definitely have the highlights for you. I'm going to cover them now, and we're going to start off with Homeland Security Agent Gerard Gannon, who is back on the stand for his second day of testimony. And to start off, Gannon is questioned by the prosecution about items seized from one of the master closets during that raid of Sean Combs' Miami home last year. And Gannon described seizing a pair of red pump high heels and discovering cell phones stuffed inside of a boot. Inside the closet was also a Gucci bag that contained white residue that tested positive for cocaine and ketamine. And that bag also contained smaller bags of different colored pills, including some stamped with the Tesla symbol. And I don't know what all this is about. Barack Obama came up on some of the pills as far as a stamp is concerned in our last episode. Well, now we got a Tesla symbol. Now that particular set of pills tested positive for MDMA and Xanax. A crystal rock-like substance with the main ingredient of magic mushrooms were also found. The crystal rock-like substance was discovered inside a wooden box marked, quote, puffy, according to Gannon. He went on to say investigators in the master bedroom also came up with a plastic bag of pills that would eventually test positive for the main ingredient of hallucinogenic mushrooms. Investigators also found a bin containing 25 bottles of baby oil, 31 bottles of Astroglide lubricant, and a rubber duck in the closet in the hallway. The bizarre shit with this case never stops. A rubber duck. Now, a photo of these items was shown to the jury. In the guest house of Diddy's Miami property, a .45 caliber handgun was found in a red suitcase at the entrance to the guard shack area, and a photo of that was shown to the jury. And with that, the prosecution had no further questions for Gannon. So at this point, the defense and Teeny Garagos, they approach the witness box and they're going to start their cross. Now, under cross-examination, Gannon agreed that many of the firearms were wrapped up in tape. They were not loaded and they were thus inoperable. Gannon also agreed with Garagos that guns without serial numbers could still be linked to the owners by fingerprints, DNA, hair, and fiber. And that's really freaking irrelevant, but it's the defense way of trying to belittle the fact that those serial numbers were scratched off. The question is, why were they scratched off? And of course, the defense ain't going to bring that part up. So a pretty short cross-examination of Gannon, and the defense then releases him from the stand. Now, next up, prosecutors call Dawn Hughes, who is a clinical and forensic psychologist, to the stand. And incidentally, Dawn Hughes may sound familiar to you if you follow a lot of trials of famous people. She's played a big role in the post-Me Too era. In recent years, Hughes has taken the witness stand in other high-profile sex misconduct trials that drew national attention. As a matter of fact, when the NXIVM sex cult leader Keith Raniere went on trial in 2019, Hughes was on hand to explain to jurors how serial abusers gaslight their victims. 2 years later, Hughes testified at R. Kelly's federal trial, and she testified in that trial that the R&B singer had subjected victims to psychological entrapment, in her opinion. And incidentally, the sex cult leader was found guilty of racketeering, sex trafficking, and possession of child porn. R. Kelly also convicted in 2021 on account of racketeering and 8 counts of violating the Mann Act, a law that bars transporting people across state lines for any immoral purpose. And Hughes even reached a new level of national awareness after testifying at the Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation trial. Heard ultimately lost that defamation case. So this lady has a track record of, when she testifies, cases get won by prosecutors. She is an absolute expert, and during her testimony, she testified that victims of domestic violence often stay with their abusers. She said they feel like there are no better options out there typically, and elaborated this by saying, quote, "These victims who stay in these toxic relationships tend to fall into 3 categories. 1, because they feel trapped. 2, they still feel a bond with their abuser. And 3, they believe the act of leaving the relationship is far too complex to achieve." She went on to say that domestic violence victims fall prey to a psychological, sexual, and emotional abuse, as well as financial dependence, making it all the harder for them to fight back or cut themselves loose. She continued saying victims suffering from psychological abuse walk on eggshells and focus how to stay safe in the moment rather than the big picture solutions, such as exiting the toxic relationship. She said sexual abuse can bring on shame and humiliation, and that leads victims to worry about keeping this harm private, which again keeps them from seeking an ultimate end to that bad relationship. She also testified that the price of emotional abuse leads victims to simply believe they're not worthy of anything more, thus draining them of the energy and motivation to get help. Hughes also described financial dependence as very important. She said it deprives the victim of the material resources needed to leave an abusive relationship. She went on to say, if you don't have money, you're left with a feeling of, where am I going to go? And continuing in her testimony, Hughes said abuse victims will sometimes delay disclosing what they've been through because they fear fallout, such as shame or not being believed. She went on to say that's why abuse will likely first be disclosed to a very close friend or a loved one who would be viewed by the victims as the most trusting ear. She went on to say that trauma itself can impact the victim's memory, the same as it does with combat veterans, child sex abuse victims, and others, as all of these categories have shown a propensity for failing to recall exact details as stress narrows attention. And y'all, of all the people we've heard from so long, this is probably the best witness thus far for the prosecution. She's speaking on the mental side of abuse. Many questions have been asked as to why Cassie stayed, why she waited so long, why didn't she tell somebody sooner? And Hughes is answering all of these questions. Does her testimony make sense to a lot of you out there? I would think so. Now, with that, the court broke for lunch. And after lunch, Hughes continued her testimony, but the prosecution was done at this point, so the cross started, and Hughes appeared to agree with Combs' defense that she doesn't have this level of intimate knowledge on Sean Combs specifically, or Cassie or anyone else involved in this specific trial, that she was speaking in generalities. The defense attorney, Jonathan Bach, then asked Hughes if she's ever represented anyone accused of a sex crime. And she responded, that's correct. I don't evaluate offenders. And what he's trying to prove there is she's only going to speak for one side, and that's the prosecution side of things. And that's a personal choice for her. Bach also asked Hughes if she's making $600 an hour for her work with prosecutors, and she confirmed that. And with that, they release her. And what are they trying to do there? Of course, they're trying to make it look as if she's only saying this stuff because she's getting paid $600 an hour. All defense teams do that when expert witnesses testify. It really contains no bearing on anything. Again, it's just a tactic. It's magic tricks for the jury. Next up for the prosecution, they called a former assistant to Combs, a guy by the name of George Kaplan. And under direct examination, Kaplan claimed that Combs, on the regular, threatened to fire him. He said Combs would often say he only wanted the best employees possible. Sometimes that will be in a motivational tone, and sometimes it will be in an angry tone. He also said that Combs had very exact demands that needed to be met when he was traveling, such as filling out a list of toiletries that needed to be packed for an overnight. Kaplan said he was also required to unpack the toiletries and arrange them so they were all facing forward, and he said that would take him like a half hour to do. Kaplan testified that one of his duties was to clean hotel rooms for Combs. Oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine that job. And he said that the reason they were so thorough with cleaning these rooms is that if photos came out of a big mess in these rooms from freak-off parties, he didn't say that, but that's what he's talking about, that could be embarrassing to Combs, and even worse, can be sold to tabloids. So he made sure he cleaned up. He also said the rooms would often be littered when he would go to clean up with liquor bottles or baby oil. And he said on one occasion he found white powder near a sink. He went on to say that packing Combs' medicine bag was also a lengthy challenge. He said various pills, including Advil, Tylenol, and that's okay. Everybody has that in their medicine bag. Then he gets into ketamine. Always needed to be included, and recalled once accepting a delivery of MDMA for Combs in Miami. And at that point, court adjourned a little bit early for today. Now, tomorrow, Thursday, May 22nd, Kaplan will be the first guy back up on the stand as the prosecution continues their questioning of him. Also, something to note for tomorrow, 5 witnesses are scheduled to testify, including Kid Cudi, the guy who had his car blown up. So it ought to be an interesting day in the Sean Combs trial. And of course, I'm going to bring you that update. And I have a little bit of a surprise for you today. Because today's episode was shorter than normal, I wanted to give you a little more. And I included kind of a rare interview with Diddy himself, and it's called 73 Questions. It's not very long, only about 9 minutes, but you actually learn a lot about Diddy in this interview that, knowing what we know now, or what is alleged now, this interview takes on a whole new light to those that listen to it. So I want you to listen to this and see if you pick up on the things that, knowing what we know is alleged now, stand out in the interview.
Puff? Diddy? P. Diddy?
Welcome to my home.
There he is, ready for his 73-question interview. You know the drill. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Before we begin, how do I address you?
You can call me Love.
And you've referred to yourself differently over the years, so I gotta ask you, why so many name changes?
It depends on my mood, my vibe.
And Puff, where did that come from?
I can't tell you that.
Why'd you move to LA?
Oh, for the kids, the family, the weather.
What's the one thing you miss the most about living in New York City?
I miss the people.
Love, how do you describe yourself?
I'm vivacious, eccentric, and I'm a Scorpio.
What's one misconception about you?
There are no misconceptions about me.
What's your biggest strength?
My belief in God.
What's your biggest weakness?
Fried chicken.
Best personal trait?
My compassion.
What's one thing you need every morning?
I need a hug.
I noticed your festive decor right over here. What are you going to be doing for the holidays?
Open up a whole lot of gifts.
What does family mean to you?
Everything is my tribe.
Can you name your kids from oldest to youngest?
Quincy, Justin, Christian, Chance, Delilah, and Jesse.
Okay. How do you tell your twin daughters apart?
Just that parental instinct.
What's one thing you want for your kids?
Oh, peace, happiness, love. I want it all for my kids.
Who's your biggest
money?
Who's your biggest inspiration?
My biggest inspiration is my mother.
What advice did you give Jay-Z and Beyonce when they had twins?
Get ready for double the love.
What do you think Biggie's legacy is?
Biggie's legacy is that he is the greatest of all time.
What's the last movie that made you cry with laughter?
Oh, that's Eddie Murphy, Delirious.
What did you bring to Martha Stewart and Snoop's potluck?
Oh, I brought him some DeLeon, the best tequila in the world.
What's a piece of advice you give to a 15-year-old Love?
Love, take care of yourself.
What age did you know that you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
When I was 12.
How?
I went and got a paper route, but I wasn't supposed to, but I got one anyway.
All right, probably the most important question of the interview, but is it really all about the Benjamins?
I think it's all about love.
And Love, the bartender awaits. Okay, so what's your favorite cocktail?
My favorite cocktail is the new French vanilla Ciroc flavored Coquito. Okay, so you need some French vanilla Ciroc, you need some Coquito, and you need some holiday spirit.
There's plenty of that. What's your favorite food?
Soul food.
What's your favorite midnight snack?
Apple pie and ice cream.
Where do you go to relax in the world?
I like the Caribbean.
By the way, whatever happened to that Farnsworth Bentley guy?
Oh, Farnsworth is doing great.
Okay, so you're having a party. What song do you kick it off with?
Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick, The Show. You have to try that one.
Now, you've gone on the record saying that your white party is up there with the top 3 that you've ever thrown for people. What are the other 2?
I would say when I got my star on Hollywood, I had a party. And this year at Burning Man at an undisclosed location.
And if you've had to recall the most lavish, over-the-top, outrageously extravagant decoration on display, what would it be?
One time I had the Declaration of Independence in one of my 4th of July parties. It was a 4th of July white party. And the white party is coming back this year, by the way, for charity.
Yeah, it's great to hear. And I'm sure that's probably not public information yet, but who's the person that's number 1 on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And I can get on that list,
Yes,
right?
without a doubt, you are invited.
That is so generous of you. Cheers to that.
See you at the white party. And happy holidays to you and yours.
Thanks, love. What's the best thing you've ever worn?
Thank you. The best thing I've ever worn is I have a vintage Ralph Lauren double-breasted tuxedo.
Wow, sounds nice. And what's your favorite article of clothing?
Favorite article of clothing? Socks.
And how would you describe your style?
My style is Diddy style right here, you know?
I can see. And who are your style icons out of all the icons in the world?
Dapper Dan and this kid right here,
What
my
up,
son.
Pop? Christian,
How you?
the third son.
Oh, good to see you.
How fresh he is, little fresh mini me.
Shit. Comfy, cozy tits.
Man, go put your sneakers up, man. Come on.
I got you. I'm sorry.
Who's your fashion mentor
My mother is my fashion mentor.
and designer?
As a fashion designer, though, I would have to say Tom Ford, though.
Okay. What's the most memorable Sean John runway show?
Most memorable Sean John runway show, the first show that we ever did. And it was the first time that New York Fashion Week saw Black excellence in its full glory and splendor.
What fashion shoot sticks out in your mind?
Annie Leibovitz, the Vogue shoot that I did, it was called Puffy Does Paris, and Kate Moss was in there, and every designer in the world. It was crazy.
How has hip-hop influenced fashion or changed fashion?
Hip-hop has changed the world of fashion. Look at Gucci.
How does fashion influence you when you're recording?
If I'm not fresh, I can't make a hit.
So to your left, I see a silver statue. Is that a certain CFDA award?
This point.
CFDA Menswear Designer of the Year award?
Pow!
That is a beautiful thing.
Put my drink down.
How did it feel winning that?
Oh, man. First African-American to win a CFDA award. I remember I was in a category with Marc Jacobs and Ralph Lauren. And I won.
Can I touch it?
Yes. It's real.
Oh, great.
It's real.
All right, notice your Grammys. Tell me, what's your favorite Grammy that you've won?
My favorite Grammy would have to be Hip Hop Album of the Year for No Way Out.
How many number ones have you had in your career?
I probably had 7 as a solo artist and over 40 as a producer.
Impressive. And I want you to think back for this question, but what was the first musical memory that you've ever had in your life?
My first musical memory was seeing James Brown at the Apollo.
Can you finish this sentence for me? Hip-hop music today is...
Hip hop music today is taking over the world.
Who's the one artist, living or dead, that you wish you can collaborate with?
Michael Jackson.
Why?
I mean, it's Michael Jackson, man. Come on. Who wouldn't?
Who's one actor you hope to work with?
Denzel Washington.
Why?
Is Denzel?
Okay, all right. Point taken. All right, in all the TV that you've done, what is your most memorable moment?
I would have to say when I performed at the MTV Awards with Sting doing I'll Be Missing You. Life-changing.
And now you're coming back?
Yes, I'm coming back. I have a new show on Fox called The Four. It's going to revolutionize vocal competition shows. It's me, DJ Khaled, Fergie, Meghan Trainor, Charlie Walk. Check it out. Premieres January 4th on Fox.
Do you think you will ever be done with music?
I will never be done with music.
What was your favorite song to perform live on that Bad Boy reunion tour?
I love dancing to More Money, More Problems, you know?
All right, so it's 2020. Will we see a President Love?
You will not see a President Love in 2020, but you will see some change. Love is going to help you get some change. And we're going to just spread this world with love. Don't want to be the president, though. I want to have too much fun.
What makes a good leader, do you think?
Patience.
What is your hope for the future in general?
My hope for the future is that my people, African Americans, will get a chance to build some economic wealth, to make some positive changes in our community so we can stop asking people for things. And that my people just get a peace of mind, man, just to get a day to breathe. And I have to think about getting shot or killed, being oppressed, you know? That's all. I just want a little bit of peace and love.
What's a cause that's important to you?
Education.
Describe Colin Kaepernick in 2 words.
Brave man.
Okay, well, we're almost done here. I'm going to round it out with some old-fashioned true or false. Is that all right?
Sure, let's go.
Okay, true or false? You go to sleep at 5 a.m.
False.
True or false? You take a bath every night.
True.
True or false? You love candles.
True.
True or false? You never wear pink.
False.
True or false? Vinyl is a lot better than digital.
True.
True or false? You never wear jeans.
False.
True or false? You do not like dancing.
That's absolutely false.
And true or false? Did you have the most memorable time with me on this interview?
Damn, that's true.
I believe that.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, love.
All right,
this
man.
is great. Take care.
So there you have it. I want everyone to please check out the Patreon for commercial-free early releases, bonus episodes, all kinds of other benefits. These people support me in what I do, and I need their support. So please check out patreon.com/exposedpodcastfiles and consider supporting if you're getting something out of the content. And until next time, for Exposed Scandalous Files of the Elite, I'm your host, Jim Chapman. Much love.